Hey, we're Julia and Rob, and we're here today and hopefully in an ongoing series to tell you a little bit about our family, how it got started, and kind of how we're feeling about things.
Yeah. So, like Rob mentioned, I'm Julia, and we met in 2011, and we got married in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after that, we started to try to start a family. That was March?
I feel like we started talking about it in January of 2016. It would be.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we really started trying in earnest in the spring.
Yeah. And well, I guess before we get into that, we should say that this channel is going to be about our family, our life, and our infertility journey through cystic fibrosis, which is what we came to learn. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So let's backtrack a little bit. Rob and I met in 2011, and we got married in 2015, and then always knew we wanted to start a family. I was pretty gung-ho about it from the get-go.
Well, we both knew we wanted it.
Yeah.
It was.
And then in about March of 2016, we decided, okay, it's time. Let's go for it. And I, in my head, was like, well, we're young.
There's nothing wrong with us.
It's going to happen. So I was already like planning for like the due date and like getting ready. And then that month it didn't happen. And I was obviously disappointed, but I was like, well, 1 month, not a big deal.
And I was definitely on like far on the other side. I was like, it's really not a big deal. I know it's something like 20% chance of pregnancy every month you try.
Yeah.
So I was very much okay, but Julia was kind of like, okay, I guess it didn't work, but next time it definitely will.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, the first time we tried, I mean, I had an idea what you were supposed to do, like tracking wise.
Yeah, you went.
But then when it didn't work the first time, I was like, okay, I like researched everything. I was like testing my body temperature. I was taking ovulation tests, and everything was like looking right on track. And then, so I was like, for sure that month, I was like, I'm pregnant. I'm going to be pregnant. And I wasn't. And so after about 2 months of trying, I immediately was like, there's something wrong. And Rob was like, Julia, it just takes time. Don't worry. And anyone I talked to was like, relax, Julia, you're young. Like, there's nothing wrong. You need to calm down.
At what point did we get Teddy? Was that like that spring?
Mm-hmm. It was like after 2 months of trying.
We really wanted to start a family.
Teddy, our dog who's right here. I obviously was wanting to nurture something. Yes. And I mean, I always wanted a dog. This wasn't like new. Yeah. I would have been like wanting a dog since we got married. Anyways. And so I did my best to be patient, which is definitely not one of my strong suits. If I want something, I like to go after it and make it happen. Mm-hmm. And until it happens, I'm kind of relentless about it.
We were coming into this, at least I definitely was. I don't know if you actually were thinking, like, I think all of the kind of fertility experts say try for 6 months or even up to a year.
At our age, it was a year.
A year before
they would even do
treatment.
Anything.
Yeah.
And so we kept trying, and it wasn't working. And like I said, I don't know. I just had a feeling that something was wrong. But at the same time, before we started trying, I was like, obviously it's going to work. Like, there's nothing wrong with us. Like, we're not going to be that couple. There's no way we're going to be that couple. Like, there's nothing wrong. But after 6 months of trying, and the entire time me being like, there's something wrong, and everyone telling me that I need to just relax. And that's the worst thing. Just relax and it'll happen.
The idea that the two are tied somehow, that if you, as long as you relax, it'll happen. But if you aren't relaxed, that's why it's not happening.
Yeah. And so again, like me being the person that I am, where I'm like, if I want something to happen, I'm going to make it happen. I had already done a bunch of research, and I'd already read that at our age, we should mention that we were in our, like, we were what, 28?
Yeah. 20. We have a slight age difference.
I was 28 and you
were
like 27.
27 or something.
Yeah. When we started. And so young, and everyone was like, there's nothing wrong. Don't worry. Anyways, you have to wait at least a year if there is anything wrong before anyone will even like consider looking at you. And so knowing this, I went to my doctor and I told her we'd been trying for a year when it had really been about 6 months. And so she kind of hesitantly referred us, I guess me, to the fertility clinic here in town. And when I say she was hesitant, it's because she knew me, and we had done some tests earlier. Like she'd actually sent me for a ultrasound a few months earlier because I asked for it, and everything was normal. And there was no reason to think that there was anything wrong. But because I had said it had been that like year mark, she referred us. At the same time, I told Rob that he had to go to his doctor and do the same thing.
Yeah.
And so you went to your doctor, and what happened?
I think it was pretty simple. I basically
told her we've been trying for a year.
We've been trying for a year, and just kind of asked what the next step was. And I don't know how graphic you want to get. I'm going to skip the
scientific. Let's be scientific about it.
I'm going to skip the parts where I go into a room and close the door. But we did some testing.
Yeah.
And
we kind of smacked in the face with the results.
Yeah. So I think did we get referred separately to the fertility clinic?
And you only got referred after two tests. So the first time you went, the results came back that like they said they couldn't even run the test because they didn't have enough of a sample.
There wasn't enough sample. Yeah.
And so we were like, well, that's weird, but I don't know.
Like, is it a fluke, or you never really, like, you can listen all you want, you can pay attention all you want in health class, but they're only going to kind of talk about normal things that can happen, not weird things that happen.
Yeah. And so I was a little bit nervous about that, but I was obviously like, okay, well, obviously that was a fluke for whatever reason. Like, I was starting to get nervous, but I was like, well, just do it again and we'll go from there. And
even I would, like, I'm the perpetual optimist. I think more to try and counterbalance you than anything else.
Yeah, that's definitely probably an important part of our relationship, is that I'm the worrier, and I'm always like wanting to plan like for like 3 different possible outcomes. And Rob's like the most laid back person, and he's just like, it's fine, it'll work out. And I'm like, yeah, it'll work out if we make it work out.
Yeah. So it's good to have that balance.
So you went for your second test, and this time there was enough to run the test. But the results,
first of all, the results were kind of weird in that it didn't say there was didn't have a measurement of like 0 sperm count. It just said less than certain number per milliliter or something. Like it was a little bit, it made it ambiguous.
Yeah, it did. They told us like one section, either the doctor told us or in one section it said like 0. It said
I think written
azoospermia.
0. Yeah.
Which means, or spermia, I don't really know how you pronounce that, which means no sperm.